Bringing you the news from here at home and across the world, live from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. This is Prime Time News. A very good evening, and Mahina Bongzel.
A very good evening to you. I'm Shahin Dharampati. Let's start off with a look at your headlines. UN Secretary General urges the government to constructively engage with the international community. Hartal staged in several parts of the island against Alutgama and Berwala incidents. I'm prepared to be the common candidate at the presidential election if required, a statement by Venerable Madhuluabe Sobitatero. Acid attack on a police officer and the security forces personnel in Mavanalla. DNA test of blood at location where British national Quram Sheikh was killed matches that of former Tangol Pradesh Sabha chairman.
Well, here's a detailed look at those stories. The Secretary General of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon, urges the Sri Lankan government to constructively engage with the international community. He made this observation in an exclusive email to Newsfirst following the motion calling for international investigators to be prevented from conducting investigations on the ground in Sri Lanka, which was passed in Parliament last evening.
The motion calling for international investigators to be prevented from conducting investigations on the ground in Sri Lanka was passed in Parliament last evening with a majority of 134 votes. Responding to the question posed by Newsfirst on the motion, the Deputy Spokesperson of the United Nations Secretary General had the following to say. The Secretary General supports the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights and commends the leadership she has demonstrated to assist Sri Lanka in advancing accountability and reconciliation. He fully understands the challenges and complexity related to post-war processes and therefore encourages the government of Sri Lanka to engage constructively with the international community to strengthen the existing domestic processes in a manner that is inclusive and respectful of human rights and to work towards lasting peace in Sri Lanka. Regarding the recent violence in the south, the Secretary General made the following observations. The Secretary General is concerned about reported attacks in southern Sri Lanka. He recalls the Human Rights Council resolution of March 2014, which urges the government of Sri Lanka to investigate alleged attacks on members of religious minority groups and to take steps to prevent such attacks in the future. The Secretary General calls on the government to take necessary measures to prevent any deterioration of the situation, to immediately investigate the incidents and to ensure the safety of all Sri Lankans.
Parliament today gave approval to extend the time limit granted to the Parliament Select Committee to recommend and report on political and constitutional measures to empower the people of Sri Lanka to live as one nation to the 21st of December 2014. Incidentally, the term of the PSC was to conclude on the 22nd of this month.
Now, meanwhile, the Office of the Chief Minister of the Western Province announced that schools in the Berwala educational zone that were closed as a result of the tense situation in Alutgama and Berwala will remain closed tomorrow as well. A communique issued by the Office of the Chief Minister of the Western Province reads that a decision to reopen the schools will be taken during the meeting that will be held tomorrow with the principals of schools in the zone.
According to the police, normalcy has returned to the Alutgama and Berwala areas. Meanwhile, Hartal campaigns were launched in a number of areas around the country today in protest against the incidents that transpired in Alutgama and Berwala.
A large number of shops remain closed in the Batiklo district today. According to our correspondent in the area, public transport services also came to a standstill. Security was beefed up in the Batiklo town as well as its surrounding areas. A similar situation was also witnessed in the Kathankudi area. Meanwhile, the residence of the chairman of the Kathankudi Traders Society was sprayed with black oil by an unidentified group this morning. According to the police, following discussions held yesterday, the chairman had decided to conclude the Hartal campaign today. The police believe that the attack may have been launched due to this decision. Hartal campaigns were also staged in the Valat Chena, Ottamavadi, Miraudai and Mavadi Chena areas. This is the manner in which a number of shops remain closed in Erabur. A Hartal campaign was staged for a third consecutive day in the Ampara district today. The protest was held in the Adalat Chene area in Ampara, demanding that the authorities take measures to protect the peace in the country. A number of shops also remained closed in the Akkare Pattua town. A similar situation was also witnessed in the Kalmune area, with the public transport services being disrupted. A Hartal was also staged in the Perenilavane area in Mardamune. Shops remained closed in a number of locations around the Trincomalee district. According to our correspondent in the area, day-to-day activities of the general public were disrupted in the Muttur, Velle Manal, Nachikuda and Topur areas. The Hartal, which was being staged in the Kinya area, concluded and a large number of shops were reopened today. A number of shops remained closed in the Anjam junction in Jaffna today. A similar situation was also witnessed in the Vaunia area. A group of individuals attempted to stage a rally in the area, however the police intervened to disperse them. Our correspondent in Kilinochi area noted that a number of shops were closed in the area. A number of shops were closed in the Gaul areas and its suburbs in protest against the recent unrest. Meanwhile, a protest was staged in the Gintote area against the incidents that transpired in Alutgama and Beruala. This is the manner in which several shops remain closed in the Ratmalayaya area in Putlam. A number of shops were closed in the Nigambo and Chilao areas. This is the manner in which a number of shops remain closed in the Nitambua and Tiharia areas. This was the situation prevalent in the Grand Pass area. Meanwhile, this was the situation in Kandy.
According to the police, 47 individuals have been arrested in connection to the incidents that occurred in Alutgama and Beruala. Investigations have also been launched to arrest around 50 others who are believed to have been involved in acts of violence.
Meanwhile, a protest was held at the Jaffna University today in protest against the incidents that transpired in Beruala and Alutgama. The protest was staged by university lecturers, students and members of the university staff. The protest, which commenced at around 12 noon, went on for nearly an hour. The protesters called on the authorities to apprehend those involved in the incident and to ensure that such an incident does not occur again.
United National Party parliamentarian Palitha Thevara Peruma raised the issue pertaining to parliamentary privileges in connection to the incident that took place in Alutgama recently.
I used a vehicle that belongs to a person from that area and I visited Valipitia. I took a number of people from the area with me. 16 people boarded the van in total. There were 5 infants among them, as well as 2 expectant mothers, 2 elderly women. After travelling for some time, the police mobile patrol noticed the vehicle I was travelling in and moved aside. At that moment, a violent group attacked those who were inside the vehicle in an inhumane manner. The vehicle was badly damaged. I did not stop the vehicle, Honourable Speaker. There was a small hole visible in front of the vehicle. I could only see the road in front of me through that small hole. Honourable Speaker, the age of one of the children was only 9 months. The child was injured in the back and was rushed to the ICU in Colombo. It has been presented here that physical damage was caused. That is a violation of privileges. He said that he took this measure to protect the lives of the people at a time where there were tensions. He says that the police did not act. It is important that we be informed about what will be done by the chamber in this regard.
Now, Muslim and Sinhala fishermen who set off to sea from the Hambantota fisheries harbour took part in a ceremony to present arms to the gods this morning.
The annual ceremony was organized by the Hambantota Fisheries Association. There are divisions that have arisen in certain areas of the country based on religion. We are happy to note that the Sinhala and Muslim fishing communities and the general public of Hambantota have joined to host the annual Devadanya to set an example. We host this event annually in order to obtain blessings to develop our trade. We hope to conduct this event next year as well on a grander scale.
The Bar Association of Sri Lanka convened a special press conference last evening. Speaking to reporters, the president of the Bar Association, attorney at law Upul Jayasuriya, expressed the following views.
On the 20th of May, we addressed the Attorney General and requested him to call for an investigation report by the police on legal measures that can be taken against those who violate the law. We requested that charges be filed if possible. On the 4th of June, we once again addressed a letter to him. We cannot be satisfied with this. Persons who incite violence can be punished severely under the Prevention of Terrorism Act. If the government and the police is of the view that such incidents should never take place again, the Attorney General needs to take action against those who provoke people and incite them. There are provisions in the present legal system to do so. If legal action is not taken, it will lead to the collapse of the rule of law.
It is said that nearly 50 arrests have been made. However, those who gave rise to this situation and gave leadership to these incidents have not yet been brought before the law. We want to remind the government that it is not those who are moving from one corner to another who should be arrested, nor the individuals who are involved in minor incidents. They have to arrest those who instigated the violence and gave the leadership to it.
Information has come to light that certain persons have been arrested. However, none of the persons who provided leadership for the situation to take place and instigated the situation have been arrested so far. Several innocent persons have been arrested and they too will be released in a few days. No institution can shy away from their responsibilities, saying that they have made several arrests.
At a time when Sri Lanka is under scrutiny by the international community, it is extremely important that we maintain peace and tranquility between the different races, different religions and different ethnic groups. And if any one group creates problems to another, I think it is the duty of the government to step in and immediately stop. Not only must they stop those who are causing harm to it, but they must also cause those who incite, also prevent them and take necessary action that there is no repetition of this kind of thing.
Also making headlines this evening, Venerable Madhuluwave Sobita Thero says that if necessary, he is prepared to contest the presidential election as the common candidate in order to abolish the executive presidency. The Venerable Thero made this comment at a press conference convened today in Colombo by the National Movement for Social Justice.
I make one request of the President. As promised, you must listen to the powerful voices within the government and listen to what the Mahanayakas and other religious leaders have to say and do not have another executive presidential election. Because you have a two-thirds majority, we do not expect this from you. Do not say that you will do this for a third time. Use your powers and the powers of the two-thirds majority and hold a general election after abolishing the executive presidency. If the President does not do so, we invite all the parties to come together and put forward a common candidate. This candidate will not be the one who will continue with the executive presidency, but one who will abolish it. We do not know who will be selected when taking a joint decision such as this. If everyone comes together and says that you are the proper candidate to contest this election, then I will accept it. Else, if everyone reaches a consensus on another suitable person, we will extend our full support to that person.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa emphasizes that Buddhists are committed to protect the coexistence between all ethnicities and religions and move forward. The President made this comment during a meeting with a delegation of foreign Buddhists.
We are fortunate to be living in a country like this. At the same time, we need to try and keep in mind that there are certain forces that are trying to obstruct it. There is a group that is committed to report false information on the country. There are campaigns across the globe where certain incidents are portrayed in an exaggerated manner. At a time like this, we are pleased that you have arrived here and obtained a clear understanding of the country. As Buddhists, we are committed to strengthening the coexistence among ethnicities and religions and move ahead. The delegation of foreign Buddhists arrived in the country based on an invitation that was extended by the Sri Bodhiraja Foundation and called on President Mahinda Rajapaksa at Temple Trees last evening. The presidential media unit stated that Venerable Haitao Thero, who heads the delegation, was presented the Dharmakirti Sri Gaurava Award by the Sri Lanka Ramana Mahasect. Venerable Haitao Thero had said that the interreligious harmony in Sri Lanka, which is opposed to our country as well as the development it has achieved, proves to be an example for other nations.
Member of the Mahayangana Pradesh Sabha, Venerable Vataraka Vijitha Thero, was found unconscious on the side of a road in the Bandaragama area this morning.
The police discovered Venerable Vataraka Vijitha Thero in close proximity to the Hirana Bridge, which comes under the purview of the Bandaragama Police Division based on a tip-off. The Venerable Thero was admitted to the Panaduru Hospital and was subsequently transferred to the Colombo National Hospital. A communique issued by the police headquarters reads that the Thero had suffered a number of injuries.
We noticed the robes of a monk close to the marsh located in close proximity to the Kindelpitia bridge. So we stopped the motorbike and looked closer. Then we saw a monk with his hands bound to his back, laying face down. He was breathing. There were lacerations on his head. As the crowd grew, we headed towards the police to inform them.
Venerable Vataraka Vijitha Thero is receiving treatment at the emergency ward at the National Hospital in Colombo. A communique by the police headquarters notes that the Thero is not in a critical condition. The communique adds that investigations into this incident are being carried out under the supervision of a superintendent of police from the Panaduru division. Venerable Vataraka Vijitha Thero faced objections on several occasions in the recent past. The Venerable Thero also made a complaint to the Human Rights Commission over these objections. A group of individuals obstructed a press conference in Colombo on the 6th of April, which was attended by the Thero. Objections were raised against the Thero on the 22nd of April, and he had to arrive at the Pradesh Sabha premises amidst police protection. Venerable Vataraka Vijitha Thero also serves as the chief incumbent of the Mahaviliya Mahaviharya in Giradurukote.
In more local news, an acid attack was launched against a police officer and a security forces personnel who are assigned as security at the Mavanala Magistrates Court.
The victims of the attack have been identified as Police Constable Alankara Gedara Jayaratna, attached to the Mavanala Police, and a civil security assistant.
We heard a sudden noise, then we heard screaming. They were shouting, we were attacked with acid. When I came close, I was able to see smoke near the gate. There was nothing on the road. We weren't able to find any evidence because of the rain.
The Mavanala Police and the District Criminal Investigations Unit have launched special investigations into the incident. The victims were admitted to the Mavanala Base Hospital before being transferred to the Kegaul Hospital. According to the police, the constable who suffered serious injuries has been admitted to the National Hospital for further treatment.
United National Party parliamentarian Sajid Premadasa proposed that gratuity should be provided according to the previous system. The MP made this proposal in Parliament today while presenting the adjournment motion.
Circular number 4 of 2014 should be repealed with immediate effect, but do not attempt to play games. If this is to be changed, then please take measures to abolish the old circular number 4 of 2014 through the introduction of a new circular. Ideally, your secretary should be present here. Your additional secretaries should be present, or those from the Department of Pensions should be here. But there is nobody present here today. I believe this indicates that all state employees are boycotting sessions in this chamber owing to the injustices caused. Minister, you can rise and take a look. There is nobody here.
A person in the state service can obtain a gratuity for 24 months upon retirement. The gratuity amount, which is not deducted from the pension, will be charged over a period of 10 years at a rate of not more than 10%. We agree on that. This was the existing situation.
The 40% concession that was provided under the previous system is not provided under the new system.
No, it is provided. That is what I'm saying. That is where there is a conflict of opinion. The President took a decision that if the pensioners are of the view that the previous system was better, then we can agree to it. This is not a system that was created to obtain underhand advantage. The Minister clarified it. Now what is the regulation? It is tabled in Parliament within 3 months. I believe there may be communication issues, there may be issues in clarifying it, but we have brought the situation back to normal, which will not cause a disadvantage to anybody.
UMP Chief Organizer for Bandarawala and Uva Provincial Councillor Ravi Gunawardena crossed over to the government today.
Uva Provincial Councillor Ravi Gunawardena made a special announcement subsequent to the commencement of the sessions at the council.
Today, the people in the villages have decided that they will not vote as long as Ranil Wickramasinghe is the leader. It will take Sajith Premadasa at least another 40 years to revive the party. A request of permission to be seated on the government side.
Ravi Gunawardena, who was the UNP Chief Organizer for Bandarawala, came in 5th position in the last provincial council polls with 11,220 votes. Meanwhile, an event was organized to welcome Ravi Gunawardena at the Uva Provincial Council under the auspices of Chief Minister Shashindra Rajapaksa.
In another one of our headline-making stories this evening, DNA tests have confirmed that blood samples obtained as evidence from the scene of the murder of British national Khurram Sheikh matches that of 3 defendants in the case, including former chairman of the Tangol Pradesh Sabha, Sampath Vidana Patirana. This was revealed when Professor Dr. Nilbini Gunawardena, who conducted the test, testified before the Colombo High Court Judge Rohini Walgama today. 6 defendants, including the former chairman of the Tangol Pradesh Sabha, Sampath Vidana Patirana, have been indicted with the murder of British national Khurram Sheikh and the gang rape of his girlfriend, Russian national Victoria Alexandrovna. Providing evidence in court, Dr. Gunawardena said the blood samples obtained from the 2nd defendant, Sampath Deshapriya, 3rd defendant, Sampath Vidana Patirana, and 4th defendant, W.P. Chaturanga, matched those obtained from the crime scene.
In business news tonight, the government has decided to import rice to the country. The Ministry of Cooperatives and Internal Trade says that this decision was arrived at during a meeting that was convened today.
The communique adds that rice will be imported via Satosa and will be sold under the government control price. The ministry says that a large number of paddy fields were affected due to the inclement weather experienced in the country recently, and noted that this decision was reached to ensure that public demand for rice is met. The Ministry of Cooperatives and Internal Trade adds that this decision was also based on the complaints made by the general public, citing that private rice mill owners are concealing rice stocks in order to raise prices. The state classified rice as an essential commodity and imposed a control price for rice in 2009, which is monitored by the Consumer Affairs Authority. On the 9th of April, the control price for rice was increased, resulting in a price of a kilogram of Samba rice to go up by 7 rupees and the price of a kilogram of Nadu rice to increase by 8 rupees.
Moving back to local news, the strike action launched by the medical health officers of the Nore Elia district in protest against an incident where Minister Arumugam Thondaman is alleged to have threatened the MOH of Kotagala continued today as well. Another round of discussions were held with the Minister of Health in this regard. Now the GMOA says that steps will be taken to temporarily suspend the strike action, which was scheduled to take place in all government hospitals in the Nore Elia district due to the assurances given by the Minister of Health that they would intervene in this issue.
13 MOH officers which operate in Norelia, Kotagala, Lidula, Bhagawantalava, Maskelia, Ambagamua, Mathurat and also Navatissapane, Valapana, Hanguranketa, Kotmale, Ragala and areas which fall under the purview of the Central Province had implemented the strike action. The Director of Health Services in the Central Province, Dr. Shanti Amarasinghe, said that 20 MOH officers engaged in the strike action. Meanwhile, subsequent to discussions held between the Executive Committee of the Government Medical Officers Association, its members also attended a discussion with the Minister of Health this afternoon.
And we had a executive committee meeting today in our headquarters, and we decided to meet the Honorable Minister Maitripala Sirisena, and Minister gave us assurance that state medical assistants who are practicing illegally will be bring it to the legal authorities, and he promised that within 1 month to prepare a report, and in 3 months' time to take necessary arrangements to act against these illegal activities. And with that assurance, we took a decision not to go for the Nuwara district-wise trade union action for the moment. He will discuss with the political authorities today and make sure that doctors who work in this area will be secure. We need to highlight that all the services which were disturbed during this time, the sole responsibility goes to the Minister Thondaman.
Over the past few years, a number of incidents where Minister Thondaman used his powers to inconvenience the public have been reported. The minister was produced before court for threatening the district medical officer attached to the Dikoi hospital in 1998. In 2002, the minister came under much scrutiny for forcefully entering the Boralla police station and sitting on the seat of the OIC. The minister was at the centre of much controversy in 2002 after being charged with threatening a doctor of the Homagama district hospital. Charges were levelled against the minister for obstructing the duties of the police OIC of Thalawakalle and conducting a public rally just days before the last Central Provincial Council election. During another incident, the minister was charged with obstructing the duties of a media personnel during the Ceylon Workers' Congress May Day rally. Indian media reported in 2012 that the minister Thondaman had behaved in a disruptive manner at a hotel in Kovai, Tamil Nadu, India.
First up in sports news, the first leg of the semi-finals of Super Fighter, Sri Lanka's first ever sports reality program, commenced today in Pallekele, Kandy. Now, Super Fighter is a joint initiative of MAS Holdings, Newsfirst and the MTV MBC media networks.
Super Fighter.
16 competitors battled it out for a spot in the finals under 4 weight classes in the first leg of semi-finals of Super Fighter in Pallekele, Kandy. The second leg of semi-finals will take place at the Stein Studios in Guatemala on the 24th of this month. An event was held at Kingswood College, Kandy, to felicitate Lasit Sandeep Disanayaka, a student of Kingswood College, who made it through to the semi-finals of Super Fighter in the 52 kg weight class. Lasit Sandeep's mother also attended the event. Speaking at the event, the principal of the school, GGS Bandara, said that Lasit had brought great honour to his alma mater.
Super Fighter.
With its superstars aging and its loyal coach slow to blend in young talent, Spain's glorious reign as a superpower of world football was bound to end. The Spanish weren't favoured to repeat as World Cup champions, but few expected the utter collapse that ended with a 2-0 loss against Chile, knocking Spain from contention and ending the run of the greatest team of the century.
Alarm in Belo Horizonte on Saturday.
Spain's World Cup defence is over after just 2 games after they lost 2-0 to Chile at the Maracana in Group B. Chile twice came close to scoring in the first 90 seconds and led in the 20th minute when Eduardo Vargas finished a slick move of incisive passing that was truly Spanish in its execution.
The irresistible Chileans have the lead and the champions are on the brink.
The second followed in the 43rd when Spain goalkeeper Iker Casillas punched a free kick to the feet of Charles Aranguiz, who fired a rising shot right back past the veteran captain, who took much of the blame for the loss to the Netherlands.
And leaves Spain on the...
Spain became the third straight European defending World Cup champion to flop in the group stage. France in 2002 and Italy 4 years ago also failed to advance or even win a match.
Spanish recovery now. Having lost just one of their last...
Netherlands secured the last 16 place in the tournament as Memphis Depay gave them victory over Australia, who are out of the tournament. Arjen Robben put Holland ahead with a fantastic solo run and goal on 20 minutes.
And Arjen Robben scores! It's his third goal of this World Cup.
But within 60 seconds, a sensational left-footed volley from Tim Cahill brought Australia level.
Tim Cahill! Astonishing!
Cahill then showed his bad side with a late challenge on Bruno Martins Indy, who was taken off on a stretcher to earn a booking which sees the Australia talisman suspended for the final group game with Spain.
That injury isn't as serious as it looks, but it doesn't...
8 minutes into the second half, Oliver Bozanic, on moments earlier for Bresciano, had a cross blocked by the arm of Daryl Janmaat and the referee awarded a penalty. Jedinak sent Jasper Cillessen the wrong way.
2-1 Australia!
Netherlands equalised when Robin van Persie, who is also booked to earn a suspension which rules him out of the contest with Chile, swiftly cancelled out Mile Jedinak's 54th minute penalty with a fierce strike into the roof of the net. Later Australia were behind as Depay's 30-yard strike swerved away from Australia goalkeeper Ryan, who let the ball skid over his hand as he dived low.
First Depay for Holland! And the Dutch lead by 3 goals to 2 in this time.
Croatia dumped 10-man Cameroon out of the World Cup with a comfortable 4-0 win in their Group A clash at the Arena da Amazonia in Manaus. Evic sent Croatia on their way with an early opener before Alex Song was shown a straight red card before half-time following a punch on Mario Mandzukic.
Here, Alex Song's moment of pure madness, pure folly, pure rashness for the Barcelona man and his World Cup.
Croatia made their numerical advantage count in the second half with Ivan Perisic doubling their lead early in the second half before Mandzukic helped himself to a quick-fire brace to send Cameroon crashing out of the tournament.
The goals just keep on coming for Croatia.
Stefan Mbia shot narrowly over from long range before substitute Eduardo saw his shot saved weakly by the Cameroon goalkeeper. The ball was played to Mandzukic, who tapped in.
Just fourth. Their first ever World Cup 4-goal haul, and we're still counting.
Let's now join Stephanie Lazarus with the weather.
Good evening to you and welcome to Weather First. Patchy damp weather conditions could be expected with temperatures hovering around 13 to 17 degrees Celsius in the central parts of the country, and there remains a possibility of winds strengthening over these areas. Now, heavy spells of rain is set to take charge in the western Sabrogamo and central provinces, and this cloud cover could extend up to the northwestern provinces as well. Now, we could be approaching the mid-20s in this western and southern parts of the country with a slight tinge of rain in these areas. Now, similar weather conditions are expected in the southern coastal belt of the country with light rain coming across over these areas. Now, these are the weather conditions that could be expected in these areas for the next 24 hours. Let's now take a look at what could be expected in the other parts of the country. Thank you, Stephanie, for the weather. But with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of Primetime News. Thank you very much for joining us. You can log on to our website. That's www.newsfirst.lk for all the stories we had tonight and much more. I'm Mahina Bongzo.
And I'm Shahin Rampati. It was a pleasure having you with us. Good night and take care.
Hotline 0114-896-896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.